About 10 years ago, I almost lost my battle with depression, and it's been my goal ever since to provide hope to those who feel like there is none. Stay tuned.
I'm the CEO. It's Mega Chop, you already know.
So we all know the best way to learn a language is to be immersed in the culture, in the environment. And that's exactly how I learned depression. I battled depression for over 16 years of my life. I was clinically diagnosed, and I learned the ins and the outs. And I look forward to sharing with you things that I learned on this journey, a journey that I wish I never had, but I couldn't make a choice in it. It was there and I lived through it. And I look to expose the things that depression doesn't want you to know because it removes its power over you. I want you guys to know too that I am here for you on your journey. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Twitch at twitch.tv/megachopceo. We are a community that supports and encourages people who walk this same battle. The more you know, the less power it has. The grasp that it has around you, your emotions, your mind, your body, your soul on a daily basis. Like a mother holds her newborn baby. She clutches it dearly because she's afraid to lose it. The same way depression is afraid to lose its hold on you. And the things that I will share with you will open up different areas and bring to light the way depression works, its lies, its nooks, its crannies. And not only is this to help those who battle depression, I'm going to share what it was like to live with depression to help those around you who maybe don't fully understand it, because no one can fully understand depression unless they've been in those shoes. Now, some people may be thinking to themselves, hey, I've read all about this. I know what the scientific definition is. I know what the dictionary definition is. I know all the symptoms. I've lived with people with depression. That means I know exactly what depression is. Not really. Because depression cannot be captured into words, a 24/7 struggle that somebody goes through. So at this point, you know a very small piece, and I hope to blast the doors wide open. My walk was specifically with bipolar depression. There would be extreme highs and extreme lows. The extreme lows were very evident. I would learn over time when it was coming or happening, because it was like a dark veil fell over my eyes and the world looked darker. It looked drearier. There was less color. There was less joy in life. I took less joy from everything that I would normally enjoy, and it drug down my energy level to a point where it felt like on a daily basis I was walking through quicksand, like I was going in slow motion, like there was a constant force against me that was trying to prevent me from moving forward physically and metaphorically in life. And it was almost like I was functioning at like 30 or 40% of my normal capacity. And to push through the energy drains at my worst point, I would easily consume 2 5-hour energies and 2 24-ounce energy drinks, and usually a few Mountain Dews every single day, just to try and make it through life, to go and work my full-time job, to be there for my family as best I could, to try to function through life. Now, if we take that with the flip side, with the highs, there was like an endless flow of energy. I could just keep going and going and going. I wouldn't always even want to sleep almost at all. It was like the world was more vibrant. There was way more color. Everything had come to life. It felt like that moment in the movies where the family is running through the field hand in hand, and they stop in the middle and they play Ring Around the Rosie, and then they all just fall in different directions, laughing hysterically, loving life, nothing could go wrong, everything is perfect. So it was very polar opposite, from the lows to the highs. And it's very draining to live a life like that, where it feels like everything's wrong, nothing can get better, to everything is perfect, nothing could go wrong. Believe me, I know it's incredibly confusing to someone who's trying to support an individual walking through that from the outside looking in. I've talked through this with my wife, who's incredible and supported me through every step of the journey. And from the inside, it's incredibly difficult going through life like that. It tosses you to and fro, and it's hard to see where life is headed at that point. And the older I got, the longer I progressed in this. Like I said, I battled this for over 16 years. So definitely through a part of my childhood, my teenage years, into my adult life. And for the last 10 years of my battle with it, the swings became very dramatic. They went from days to weeks to months, and it was hard to know when it was going to change. And I typically would average about 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. And that was the way that I could find to best function of sorts across the highs and the lows. This gave me plenty of time to work, spend time with family, and play video games. And it was concerning, though, because sleeping 3 to 4 hours a night and consuming high levels of caffeine is not an ideal state. It's not a great place to live. And Stacy would question this time and time again, rightfully so. So we agreed, okay, we're going to try a 30-day stretch where I sleep 7-8 hours a night, somewhere in that ballpark, and I work to cut out caffeine. Up to this point, if I ever slept consistently 7 or 8 hours a night, I would be useless during the day. I couldn't hardly function. I would struggle to even find the energy to get up off the couch. And so we decided, okay, let's set in, let's give this a shot. And we made it about 2 weeks in, and I was as useless as I could be while trying everything that I could to be beneficial and productive, and it wasn't working. So we agreed to revert back to the 3 to 4 hours a night, because we could actually be in a functional state that was better than where we were at that point. One of the more challenging things to learn while battling depression was so many people are like, hey, just snap out of it. Easy, you know? And if you've experienced bad days in your life, but you haven't experienced depression, that's 100% understandable from your world, from your understanding. Now that I'm free from depression and I've had bad days, 100%, I can just snap out of it. It's not overwhelmingly difficult, because there's usually a cause for the bad day, a train of thought, something that I can think through and be like, is that healthy? I can take it to someone and be like, this is how I'm feeling. It helped me work through this. And you can walk that path and work through that and get to a healthy mental state. With depression, though, it's different. If there's a cause for you being in the spot where you're at, it's much easier to work through that, which could happen some days with people battling depression. There's a specific trigger, a specific something that causes it. There are many times, though, where when someone is battling depression, that there's no reason, or they're unable to find out what that reason is, if there was a reason to trigger it. And at that point, when someone is so engrossed, so overwhelmed, all of these thoughts are coming at them, usually very defeating thoughts in different ways, and we'll cover those in much more detail in a later video. But it's very difficult, if not impossible, to try and see an end to that struggle, to see a light at the end of the tunnel, to be like, hey, I can see that if I start heading down this path, it's going to be better for me. It usually takes a loving and encouraging individual to be at their side, to support them and encourage them, to help get them towards that path. It's not completely impossible for someone who's battling depression to get themselves headed towards a healthier path. It is very difficult as they're trying to understand who they are as an individual in life, as they're trying to understand how their depression functions. Just like there's a lot of misconceptions in the world around depression and anxiety and different mental battles, that same confusion exists for someone who battles it on a daily basis. Because as much as you read, there's a lot of things that apply to everyone, and there's a lot of things that don't apply to everyone. Everybody's walk, everybody's battle, everybody's struggle is unique and different. So while all of the things that I can provide in this video are from my experience, my viewpoint, my walk, many of them will be similar in different ways, and again, have their own unique aspects for everybody. So let's take a brief moment for those who are like, hey, just snap out of it. Let's try and paint a better picture for you. Now, keep in mind, the example that I'm going to use, I have never been bound to a wheelchair. I've had the ability to walk my whole life, so I do not know this firsthand. But as I try and conceptualize what it would be like to be in a situation where I need to use a wheelchair to navigate daily life, I would imagine that to be difficult and frustrating in the standpoint of general life around us, buildings, places of business, shopping, for many years was designed for those who were able to walk on 2 feet. It was not readily accessible by those who used wheelchairs. And I couldn't imagine the frustration directly that they would feel not being able to go and do and experience all the things that they can see everyone else go and do and experience. So getting to my point in the connection of this analogy to hopefully help you better understand depression is, if someone is frustrated and struggling because they're in a wheelchair and they're having difficulty trying to access or do things that someone else is doing, you wouldn't be like, yo, just snap out of it. Just get up out the wheelchair and go do whatever you want to do. It's not that big of a deal. I do it on a daily basis. I sure hope you wouldn't. Again, different scenario, but trying to help paint the picture in different terms for someone who's battling something mentally. It's a similar concept to say, just snap out of it. I do it on a daily basis. I go to where I need. I get done what I need. It's not that big of a deal. Just suck it up and make it happen. It doesn't work like that. So as we go through this video series, I hope that we can paint a better picture to help you understand, because those who are saying just snap out of it, I want to believe that they want to help in some way, and they think that they're helping by saying that, when really you're not. You're hurting the situation more and making it more difficult, because now the individual who's battling depression or anxiety or any other mental struggle now feels like, okay, they may have been an open door, but now I really don't feel like they are. I don't feel like I can go and confide in them and they'll listen and they'll try to understand where I'm coming from. They just think that I'm being a baby about it. My ultimate hope through these videos is, if you're battling depression, to challenge your thoughts on it. If you've never walked depression and you're supporting someone who is, to challenge your thoughts on it. I look and hope to see us have a community of support. It's impossible to battle depression alone. You need to be able to reach out and talk to somebody in an open platform where you know that you're not going to be judged, you're not going to be told to get over it, and you're going to have those who are willing to love you, encourage you, and support you through it. And that's the heart behind our community in the Mega Chop, as we have our YouTube and our live streams and our Discord and my social media, is we create an openness, a platform for those who need to come and talk with everyday people. Many of us have had the same walk, the same struggles, and we know what it's like firsthand. And again, if you want to come and talk about anything that we've talked about in this video, talk more, ask questions, feel free to join me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings on Twitch at twitch.tv/megachopceo. We would love to see you there. And while you're here, make sure you like, subscribe, and smash that bell for notifications. Until next time.